Welcome to the Merch Minds podcast, where we discuss everything about the Merch by Amazon business and the print-on-demand industry. Here are your hosts, Glen and Yong.
What is up, everybody? You're listening to the Merch Minds podcast, episode number 17. My name is Glen with the YouTube channel Hustler Hacks, and the co-host with the most, Yong.
Yo, what's going on?
So we're going to be talking about Merch by Amazon. A lot of things to talk about this week. Some people got teared up, I think. New limits per day. Sales increasing. A lot of things going on. We're going to start off talking about our own numbers. We'll get into some merch news, and then we'll get into our topic for the day. So, Yong, you want to start off a little bit about your own account, your own numbers? What's going on?
Sure. Let's see. I posted this in the group, and since I've been able to upload 3 shirts per day,
okay,
I've noticed that my sales have been very slowly increasing.
Okay. Very good.
So I have some numbers for you guys. So in the last 7 days, I've sold 64 shirts.
Okay.
For a total sales number of $1,240.84.
Okay.
My royalty from that is $458.83. And that's just as of now. Today's Thursday. It's about 4:17. So the day's not over. So on average, as far as royalties is concerned, I've been averaging about 500 per week.
Okay. So you're going about, well, even if you had it at 400, you're still about $1,200 to $2,000 per month so far.
Correct.
As long as you stay. All right, cool.
Yeah. So today's February 2nd, and last month my royalty was I was just under $1,600. I think I was like maybe $40 short of $1,600.
Okay.
By far the second most amount of money I've made on merch. Obviously, December being the most. So I'm starting to see some slow growth. So I've gave myself a goal of hitting 2K for this month.
Okay.
And then I just realized, well, that was dumb because February just happens to be the shortest month out of the year. So we'll try and figure that out as we go along.
We're gonna have to do like a show on what we plan or what we're planning to do, what we can do, what we have done with these merch royalties. Because I'm curious to know. What
Sure.
Young's doing with $1,200? Is he making it rain in the club? We won't know. We won't know that stuff until we do a show. I think that's very important.
That's a private topic. I don't want to talk about it. So, but no. You know what? We should do a show on what we do with our money. Seriously,
or goals.
Yeah.
What you want to do with the money and things
exactly.
like that.
I think that'll be that'll be a good show. It's a strong topic. Yeah, maybe in the next few weeks we'll plan something out.
Yeah, I think also a pretty good question to ask some of our guests that we get on here. What do they plan? What are their goals? Like with this whole thing that obviously you're making money every week or every month you get your royalty, but what do you want to do with it?
Right. Well, see, my thing is, and I've said this, 100 times now. I just happen to live in one of the most expensive places in the country, right? Glenn, I told you how much I pay for rent, and you damn nearly blew your mind.
So, I'm surprised I'm actually doing this podcast after hearing that.
So with me, it's not just to have more income, but it's also to have a cushion in case something happens, and to eventually travel more. But that's that's something we'll get into maybe in the near future.
But I do want to talk about your limit per day now. So you said it was at what? 5?
No, oh yeah, you know what? So it was at 3.
Okay,
it was at 3, and I think it was yesterday they upgraded me to 4, so I can now upload 4 shirts per day.
Okay.
And for me, that's 3 to 5 is what I was doing before all the restrictions anyway. So I'm okay with that. I know some people, they want to upload like oh, I want to be like Hustler Hacks and upload 40 shirts per day. I'm going to be honest with you, man. There is no way in hell I can upload 40 shirts per day. So I'm okay with what I have for now.
Have you missed a day on doing three day? Have you missed one day so far?
I have not missed a single day. Every day.
Boy, that's what I like to hear.
Exactly. Every day I'm uploading designs. Even if I don't have a design, I will go back and look at my old designs, and I'll find something that I know that has potential.
Exactly.
And I'll just re-upload those.
Okay. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That's why you're the champ. That's why you're the champ.
Hey man. Hey. I'm trying to be like you, okay? But so I have not missed a single day, and as of last night, and I also posted this in the group, I've sold 1,000 shirts, so I should be technically now at the 2,000 tier, but obviously because of the whole restriction and setbacks, I'm just playing the waiting game.
Yeah, a lot of things going on, but you haven't technically filled up the 500 though, right?
No, I think, so we just had, and I think I speak for most, we just had another set of, another surge where they deleted a bunch of shirts. So I think I was right around 265, and I think I'm down to about 220 shirts, somewhere around there.
Yeah, they took off all my Christmas shirts, so.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, at least all the ones that didn't sell, they were they were gone. Okay, so that's good. I mean, 1,200 to 2,000 roughly, as long as we keep these numbers up, and it's good to hear that they're slowly growing as you're adding new shirts.
Exactly, so, and I've sold, and I've sold a bunch of shirts that I recently uploaded within the last couple of weeks. So
that's even better. And what I like about that too is that, remember guys, if you sell those shirts, I think that's more important than some of the old ones, is to sell some of these new ones so that you can have them on there, not forever, but at least for a long time, because after that 60-day rule and a lot of stuff starts, leaving the platform, you're going to be like, oh man, but at least the ones that sold, they're safe and you can, have them there like, all right, cool. Those sold. I don't have to really worry about them. And then, you can move on to the next ones.
Exactly. So what's going on with you, man?
Oh man, I mean, just eating, breathing, sleeping, cuddling.
Look, I don't care about your personal life. I want to talk about your merch numbers. Nah, I'm just playing, dude.
I just been like shirts 24/7. Like, do I look tired? Like, you see me on here, but
no, you look good, man.
Because I've just been like this 40 a day thing. I haven't missed a day yet, but I am I haven't missed a day yet. But I am like on, I don't know what right now, just trying to get all of these 40 shirts on there per day.
Wait, so are you designing as you upload?
I'm trying to like stay like a day ahead. So I'll try to do like I think when I first saw it, I had like a couple of days ahead, but now I'm kind of like slowing down a little bit. But I'll do like the 40, and then I'll just get the PNGs, and then I'm uploading them, and then I'm done for the day. But then the next day, like, I have the ideas, because remember we talked about having the ideas, so I have those set. I don't have to worry about getting ideas.
Okay, so you've done your research.
Yeah, the research part is done. It's just the designing and then finalizing them to PNGs, which if you're doing 40 at a time, that could take a while. And then uploading them. So going through those little processes, taking its time and going through it. But yeah, I'm like, man. And then here's the thing. A nonstop 40 per day, I was doing good. And then yesterday I got the update with everybody else. So now my limit is 55 per day. And yeah, I don't think there's any way I can, I mean, 15 more. I'm like, can I do it? But right now I'm like, man, I think mostly because of everything else, balancing everything with the YouTube channel, and I'm still doing eBay stuff, and eBay, I mean, I like doing eBay a lot. I think that I did miss it for a certain point because December I didn't do eBay at all, and that was mostly because of my accountant. He was like, I don't know, let's slow down a little bit on the eBay thing because of this merch money you have coming in. Wait a little bit on it. Maybe start the new year so we can get this tax thing and then that's like a whole nother thing too, right? The whole tax thing. I'm getting all of these,
Right.
Forms and everything coming in. The Google one from YouTube came in. The FBA one, now the merch one, of course the PayPal one. I think that was the first one that I got. So getting all this stuff ready and trying to do the 40 per day and balancing stuff. It's been tough, but hanging in there. I want to make sure I get those goals 40 per day. Now that it's 55, I'll see what I can do. But 40 has been really good so far.
Wait, so I mean, I'm still stuck at the fact that you said that your CPA told you to cut back on eBay. No, because I mean, typically, I mean, from my understanding, CPAs don't tell you to do that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you just keep doing what you got to do and make that money, and they just, they just crunch your numbers. But the fact that he told you to cut back on eBay, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think the reason why he told me that was just because I was still trying to get all my paperwork together, and a lot of the eBay stuff, like I had a lot of the like crunching my numbers. I have a spreadsheet for that, and I was behind because I hadn't done a lot of that stuff, I think, since like February, and I had all this. Yeah, I had all this stuff written down. I was like, man, I really have to finalize all of this stuff in writing, make sure everything's good to go. And he's like, yeah, I'd probably take that month off to make sure you have all of this stuff ready to go, because of the tax time. I just want to make sure I'm all set with all of these things. So yeah, that was probably like the main reason.
That totally makes sense, because I'm right there with you. Bookkeeping is not my strong point.
Yeah,
seriously, man. I mean, my bookkeeping is, I could barely even balance my checking account, let alone trying to keep receipts together. So that's yeah, that's going to be a nightmare when it's time to do my taxes. But number two, so you're at 55 per day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll be honest with you right now, man. If I was at 55 per day, I'll be the first one to say there's no way, even at 40 per day, right? I'll be like, there's no way in hell I can upload 40 per day. I mean, and I've said this before. You said you were in the past, before all the restrictions, you were uploading 100 per week.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you missed a few days, in my opinion, I think you'd be okay, man. I mean, don't drive yourself crazy trying to, do that 40 to 55 shirts per day, man. I mean, I don't want to see you go down like that, dude.
Well, you know what? He went down doing what he loved. Merch.
Yeah, but still, man, don't drive yourself crazy. I mean, like I said, if I was in your shoes, there's no way in hell I can do, like I said, 40 shirts per day. I mean, if you take a couple of days off, man, hey, it's well deserved on your part. So don't be afraid to do that, man.
Oh man, well, we will see, because now that it's a new month, now I'm kind of hyped up again. Now that I saw the 55, I also got hyped up again too. But realistically, 55 is pushing it. Like even 40, I know you said it was kind of crazy, but 55 is crazy. But right now I'm about 1,600 products live.
Okay.
And then they took off all those Christmas ones. I don't know what else they took off, but I know all those got removed. Sales, I'm at about 2. That's slowly going up there, because I think when we talked the last 2 times, I was roughly about 200 per week. Now those actually went down right before I went up to the 40 per day thing. So that went down to like 175. And then now I like shot back up to like 210 per week. So royalties is like 1,200 per week.
Jeez.
So trying to, I don't know. I just want to keep adding more and more and more and more. The good thing is I have seen it. Well, it is kind of crazy though, because 40 per day, and I'm selling maybe like 3 to 5 of those new shirts per day. So I know there's a lot of them that are probably never going to sell. Once they get off for the 60-day thing, I'll look at them again, reevaluate, probably do maybe like a redesign or something, because I think the ideas are still good. maybe I just need to get a better design or something. But as long as I have those in there, we'll see if they sell, see what happens. But I don't know. I think like on my channel, I talked about, I think the people that I do like 6, 8, 10,000 designs live. I mean, those people are doing 10 to 12,000 a month. So
who the heck has 10,000 designs live? Do you know someone?
Well, we know Daniel does. I mean, we haven't interviewed him, but Daniel Caudill, I think is his last name.
Oh, we gotta get him on the show.
I haven't talked to him in a good while because I haven't messaged him in, I think since merch, I really started getting started into merch. But I know at one point I think he had like 6,000 or 7,000 something designs, and he was averaging at least 10 to 12,000 a month. So. I think there was another guy. I mean, I don't really know about any other posts and stuff because you can't really say off of screenshots,
of course,
what's going on. You know, you can't believe everything you see online. But I know he had been doing pretty good and everything. He had shown his numbers and everything. But I'm guessing, I mean, a small percentage of 8,000 designs, small percentage of those are selling per day. You're still making pretty good money, even if like 10% of those sell, 5% of those sell. I mean,
I've heard of Daniel, but I've never talked to him. We've never talked, so we should get him on the show in the near future. I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, we need to get him and Chris Green, which we talked about before. So we need a lot of things to do. Yeah, a lot of topics to cover. But
of course,
that's where I'm at right now, and just keep adding more shirts per day. And so now that everybody else, at least that we've seen in the Merch Minds Facebook group, is that everybody else seems to be able to upload now.
Yeah, right? Which is good news overall. Now, are they approving accounts? I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about accounts yet being approved. Tier ups, I've seen some people said they have, but not too many. Most of the ones that I've seen that we've talked to, at least that we've seen, are able to upload 3, 4, 5 per day.
True. Okay.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Time to shine, because I know that's what everybody else has been waiting for this whole time. Well, I can't upload. What I'm going to do? I have stuff in draft mode. Should I still keep making shirts, coming up with ideas? Yes. It's go time right now, every single day. Better be uploading shirts. Time to make money.
Go out and get it.
And this podcast is over.
It's over. But before we get into today's topic, one last thing that Glenn and I wanted to mention, and we kind of found out about this by accident. Yeah. When you're looking up copyrights and trademark. So initially, I was always using Trademarkia. Mm-hmm. And I know some people go straight to the USPTO website. Yeah. Now, you and I were looking up a slogan, a caption, whatever you want to call it. And I looked on Trademarkia, and it said it was available. But then you went to USPTO, and it said it was trademarked and live.
For clothing specifically, also. So
there's some, so those databases, they're not matching up with each other. So basically what we're saying is, if you're doing your research on trademarks on Trademarkia, we would say also check them on USPTO, and vice versa. If you're doing it on USPTO, also check on Trademarkia, because I don't know which one's right.
Yeah. And you sent me the screenshot, like, well, here it is, Glenn. There's no trademark on it. And then I sent it to you back, and I'm like, well, here it is live from that site. And here's the difference between the two. Like Trademarkia, I like it. I think it's like a lot easier to see and recognize trademarks. They give you like, well, the other site does it too, where they give you like a screenshot of what it looks like, or as far as like the certain slogan or whatever. Mm-hmm. But what I noticed on the other site, the USPTO, is it?
USPTO.
Yeah.
Correct.
What I noticed about that one is that if you can type in like a slogan or something, it'll give you a lot of results for some things.
A bunch.
Yeah, like a bunch of results that they kind of relate to it, but it's not exact. But on Trademarkia, they only give you that exact one. But then we also noticed that, from this example, but also previous examples, when I was going through all of these different ideas, trying to get all these set up, I would probably say like one slogan or idea per 30 ideas was not shown on Trademarkia and was shown on the USPTO site as live.
Yeah, interesting.
So man, like it's tough to say because I don't want to trust Trademarkia 100% because of this. I mean, it's tough because if you have a lot of shirts already, it would suck to have to go back and to check every single one of these if you specifically only checked on Trademarkia. But I have noticed at least the last stuff I've been working on, probably at least 10 to 20 different ideas that I researched were not on Trademarkia and they were on the USPTO site.
Okay. I think best practice really would be to just do both. I mean, maybe that's a little too extreme, but at least that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me from what you're saying, like USPTO is a little more, it's a little more accurate. It's a little more up to date. It seems like. I guess we should Trademark is a local company. They're like 15 minutes away. I should go knock on the door and be like, what the heck, what's going on in here? What kind of business you guys running?
Let's get to work here, and then we can interview them for the podcast.
They're like, we're closed.
Yeah,
we have no comment.
We don't care about merch.
So I think best practice, just either use USPTO or do both. And another just quick tip before we continue with the show, and this is something Glenn and I talked about. Do research on everything, even if it sounds silly, right? Even if the caption is like, "Good morning, Joe. Let's get some cup of coffee." You just never know. Just look it up, see if it's trademarked, because I've looked up some weird stuff, and sure enough, sometimes they'll pop up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I forgot. Oh man, I should have written it down for the example, but it was something I was like, "There's no way," and sure enough, someone had it trademarked. I'm like, "How? Why? Why would someone trademark?
Why would they do something like that?" Yeah.
What kind of process did they go through to trademark these two words? Like, but sure enough, there it is. And I totally agree. I do check both, but just check everything. You never know.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, so let's go on with the show. So today's topic is how to become a graphic designer. And the reason we chose this topic is because obviously since merch was provided to us, I know there's a lot of you guys out there doing your own designs. And then there's some of you guys who's been doing these t-shirt designs. You guys are now thinking, well, maybe I can pursue a career in graphic design. So Glenn and I thought this would be a good topic to go over and just kind of really break down what you guys can do if this is something you guys want to pursue.
Yeah, I did get a couple of emails, and a lot of people have been interested in graphic design, period, ever since merch. I think also learning Illustrator was kind of like, hey, well, what else? I think some people asked me, like, what else can I do to learn a little bit about graphic design other than just Illustrator or designing t-shirts? What about, banners or logos or flyers or things like that, or any books or anything I could recommend, or any, I guess the other programs you have to kind of learn, or any practices. So I thought it was pretty cool to kind of talk about this for the show. And, if you do like Illustrator, you do like graphic design, maybe it is something for you. Maybe it could become a side hustle for you. I mean, I don't know.
Sure.
But, we'll talk a little bit about that. And Yong had some pretty good points in here, so we'll just kind of go back and forth on it.
Yeah. So we came up with the list, and we're just going to go down the list, and we'll both kind of touch base and talk about, provide both our opinions on each topic. So First bullet point, the average salary for a graphic designer, at least here in the US, is about $40,000 per year.
Okay? At least in California, where Yong is at.
It might be a little higher. I don't know.
When I graduated, I don't even know. Actually, I put this on my YouTube channel, but yeah, they hired me as a graphic designer full time. My starting salary was $28,000.
But that's also El Paso. It depends on your location. But
yes.
This is a national.
You're talking about nationwide,
right? So, but you live in El Paso, where the cost of living is cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I both know, because I work in academia.
Mm-hmm.
Academia always pays a lot less than corporate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes, it does.
So those are the two factors of why.
And they work you like a dog too.
They sure do, huh? So yeah. So the average salary for a graphic designer, average, okay, depending on your location and whatnot, is $40K per year. Now, if you can survive, if you think you can survive, whether you have a family or not, if you can survive on $40K, this is something, this is a career that you might want to pursue. It is fun, in my opinion, because you get to be creative.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to essentially create art, kind of, except it's on the computer. So it's fun. So if you can survive on the average of $40K.
Yeah, if you like designing and being creative and working on the computer, and like if you like what you're doing right now for merch, working on Illustrator, then this might be for you if that's something you like to do. I guess what would you say? I guess what they could expect to work on as a graphic designer, like what kind of
just go outside. Just go outside. Everything that you probably see at some point went through a graphic designer, whether it's a billboard, whether it's a poster, a brochure, a business card, the packaging for your board game. Everything has to do with graphic design. Okay, we're constantly surrounded by graphic design every day. So it's all around you. And if that's the kind of stuff that you want to do, definitely, get some more information in trying to pursue a career. But the next bullet point is a common question. Do you have to go to college? Should I go to college to learn graphic design? Well, you want to go first on this one, Glenn?
This one's tough because, me and you have degrees. Would I recommend it? Yes and no, because I'd probably say no if you're going to have to pay heavily for it, because going back on student loans and going through, it's just, it's going to be tough to like really go through all of this to get, this experience. But also I would say yes, because you will learn a lot more about it. But I think that with technology and everything right now, you can learn so much without having to get a degree. If you, push your own freelance stuff and you build up your talents and you build up your networking skills, I think anything can happen. Of course, if you want to work for the man and they want a degree, then yeah, you're going to have to get it. But if you want to do your own thing, like maybe a freelance type of thing, or it's like a side hustle, or maybe even some people that want to build or make their own, company that offers graphic design, then I wouldn't say, well, you need a degree if you're not really going to work for anybody. But that's my point, I guess. Yes and no. There's good and bad to everything. Really depends on your situation. And I think student loans just play a huge part of that.
Okay. Well, so my opinion on this, and I've said this in the past. I've always said, I'm a huge advocate of higher education. I've always said, if you have the opportunity to go to college, definitely go. It's not just life-changing, but it's just good experience overall. Okay. If you can't commit 4 years out of your life to getting a higher education, how the heck are you going to commit the rest of your life hustling and flipping stuff on eBay? Right?
Kind of. Let me tell you why.
Well, okay.
Because if you have that passion and drive in you, I mean, selling stuff on eBay and all of that, I think is totally different because you're not having anything to do with, like, I guess, communicating with customers on what they want. You know, they want a certain logo. You're going to work on it. You're going to put in your time and effort. With eBay, you could just find it, take pictures of it, put a description.
Right.
It sells, ship it out. You're not really doing a lot of hands-on customer service and talking to people, trying to figure out what they want. I'd probably say as far as like that statement goes a little different.
Well,
but
my response to that though, Glenn, would be, eBay, and we've said this 100 times. That's their playground. eBay can shut you down whenever. Okay. Yeah. At least when you have a college education, that's something that they can't take away from you. That's something you earned. That's something you should be proud of. And I've said this 100 times. I went to college late in my life. Okay. Now, do I regret not having gone to college earlier? I sure do. But you know what? I'm proud of my education. I'm proud of what I accomplished. And that's something that no one can take away from me. Okay. And if you, and for some reason, if eBay or Amazon, and obviously with merch, we've heard stories the last few days of people's accounts getting suspended. If you guys were completely relying on Amazon and eBay and they shut you down and you have to go work, well, you know what? At least now you have a nice little resume that says you have a college degree. I mean, it might not mean much, but it does carry some weight. Okay. So that's my thing. If you have the opportunity to go, you should go. It'll lay a solid foundation to what you want to accomplish. Okay. So the third bullet point is, if you're not going to go to college, then really, really immerse yourself into reading books and watch as much videos as you can. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on YouTube that can teach you Photoshop, Illustrator, and those two are the softwares that we talk about the most in the merch world. But there's also InDesign, there's Dreamweaver, which we don't really even use anymore in the industry, but there's other softwares that you can learn to really be well balanced.
Yes.
So if you're not going to go to college, at least educate yourself by doing that. Watch videos and read books.
Yeah, I think your books are probably going to be more of like, I would say probably like fonts and typefaces and things like that are strong that you can use. Videos, definitely learning the programs, like lynda.com or
Udemy
and things like that, and learning and really a lot of it's going to be hands-on and playing with it. I remember like Illustrator, like the pen tool, I thought it was like the hardest thing in the world. I was like, what am I doing? Like, this thing is tough. Like, angles are all jacked up. Like, I don't know. It took a while to kind of like really learn it and feel comfortable with it. So a lot of it is going to be hands-on. You can also just follow different graphic designers and blogs and graphic design awards that people win too. There's different groups and memberships and stuff you can also join to kind of see what people are doing. But that's something you're interested in. There's just so much stuff. Then it's kind of crazy, I think, how much is out there compared to just like the last like 10 years or so.
Yeah. So definitely, I mean, again, if you don't go to college, really just study the business. I mean, there's so much to learn, but there's some things that just can't be taught though, right? There's some things that just can't be taught because, like, for instance, a good example is I had a classmate when I was at the university. He was in the graphic design program, but this guy was god awful. I'm sorry, man. You know what? His work it looked like a 12-year-old did it. It was just so bad. And he was, and he was trying to get a degree to, obviously to get a job. And I'm just like, man, I'm thinking to myself, with his skills and the type of designs that he's doing, there's no way he's going to get a job. So some things just can't be taught, whether you go to college or not. But I mean, I think if you just understand the concept, like, for instance, a good example is color schemes, right? I think most of us know that you don't, I don't know, you don't combine hot pink with green. That just looks awful, right?
Yeah.
But some people, they don't understand the color schemes, and I've seen that.
Yeah. And I
So
think, I mean, kind of what you said, I mean, there's some things you can't learn. I would probably say just being creative in general. I mean, you might disagree. Maybe people can learn a little bit more about being creative, but I think
of
it's
course,
either it's in you or it's not. At least in
you either
my
have it or you
mind.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can learn to be creative, and that's our fourth bullet point. You can learn to be creative. Some people will get it faster than others.
Yeah.
But it can be taught. But I mean, for instance, my colleague, he doesn't understand color schemes. I mean, he'll do things, and I'm just like, this looks awful. So and they're like, oh no, it doesn't. It looks great. And then he'll go around and ask other employees, and they're like, the colors don't match. So you have to learn how to be creative. It can be taught, but and there's resources out there.
Yeah.
There's resources out there.
And I guess what would you say is kind of like the any like notable projects and stuff you had to work on that you would say that you remember
Recently?
working on either in college or at work? Any notable projects that stuck in your head? Either you didn't like working on it or you did.
You mean something that I want to share publicly?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's see. I've mentioned that I work at Stanford University.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a bunch of websites for them, which, one project that I'm currently working on, I can't really talk about it. Obviously, Glenn, you and I talked about it behind the scenes only because it's not complete yet.
Okay.
It's kind of under the wraps for now. But yeah, I mean, I worked on some projects. We did like a UX UI design back in college. That was something, that was really fun.
And was this I was gonna do like
what are you trying to get at, man?
I was gonna do like an age like type joke or something. Like, was these like hand drawn or something? Like, because they didn't, they didn't have like different programs back in the day. But
you're stupid.
But one of the one of the things that I worked on, at least in the university when I worked there, was like billboards. I gotta say, billboards those are crazy to work on because
I've never done a billboard.
And that's one thing too, that like when you're working on one, you better make damn sure that like you're not misspelling things or something weird is on there, because your billboard's like right there, right off the freeway. Everyone's looking at it, and like I don't know, billboards I think is crazy to work on. I had to do like brochures, like booklets. So we had to do like course schedules. And some of these were like 60 to like 100 pages long. So now you're using Adobe InDesign. And those two, that's like very tedious stuff to like, make these things. But if you really, really like graphic design, I think that you'll like working on these things, just because, I mean, it is fun putting stuff together. But then again, you don't really get the respect that other people probably really think of you, because they're like, this dude's just having fun. He's just like designing stuff, sitting there.
I wouldn't say that. No,
he's not doing counting. He's not crunching numbers.
Yeah, but I think designers get respect. It really comes, and that's something that we'll talk about here in a bit. But it really just depends on the type of work you put out. You need to have a strong portfolio, and that's something that we'll talk about here shortly.
Okay,
but
go ahead.
That's all right. But that leads to the next subject, and you kind of brought it up, right? As a graphic designer, you either have to be well balanced or have a strong niche. Okay, and what I mean by that is, I don't have a particular niche. And what I mean by that is, some designers, they specialize in, believe it or not, sketching. People will actually draw, and then they'll scan it, and then they'll vectorize whatever they drew. You know what I'm talking about, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll do lettering, or they'll do typography, or the UX, UI design, the user experience or the user interface. Everyone has a particular, some people have a specialty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a specialty. I just think I'm really well balanced across the board, right? I know Photoshop, I know Illustrator, I know InDesign, but there, even though I know all those softwares, there's a lot of things I also don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and if I don't know, at least I know at least I know where to go and get the information.
And also keeping up, I think, with like the programs too. I mean, they add all these new features every
Of
single
course.
time. So it's kind of like, oh man, now they have this now. They have and shortcuts, on the keyboards and
That's how they stay in business. Yeah. Yeah.
keeping up with all that. But
And,
that's a
and,
totally
and
different thing.
yeah, so either, so you need to figure out what kind of designer you're going to be. Do I want to go work at a corporation and just do UX UI design, or do I want to just do freelance work?
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, freelance work is tough. Glenn, I mean, you obviously do a lot of freelance work, and I think it's fair to say, with you though, you were lucky because you really reached out to a community that was
Mm-hmm.
really, really, you were doing a lot of design for the reselling community.
Yeah, and luck is for losers, Young. I mean, things happen for a reason.
And I think that's what really helped you get established, right? Because you started off with the reselling community, and then obviously the reselling community, it kind of branched out to Kindle, and people needed book covers, and then from that it branched out to obviously now merch. So people are reaching out to you. So I think it's fair to say that you were smart enough to at least start with one community, and you were able to branch out from there, and that really helped out a lot.
Yeah, that was one of my like points I wanted to add to that one, because you had huge point on that, and that's just like, if you're starting off from the very beginning,
It's tough, yeah.
doing logos or doing something for somebody for free. I mean, you're really just trying to build up your portfolio and your name and network. I mean, you really don't have any business trying to charge people a bunch of money, because you haven't really done anything.
Exactly.
It's good to get that experience, and like you said, mine was a reselling community, and a lot of people needed different designs for different things. And even with working at the university and having years of graphic design experience, I started off doing stuff very, very cheap, just to try to like network and get my name out there.
Yeah.
And that's what I would definitely recommend, to do, because you have to start from somewhere. Get that portfolio up.
Exactly. So the point we're trying to make is, if you do want to become a graphic designer, just know that doing freelance work, it's going to be tough to get work. Trust me. Okay. If you don't trust me, go on to Fiverr and go on to Upwork right now as I speak, and look up graphic designer. You're going to get like a countless amount of results.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's so much competition, and I'll touch base on that here shortly as well. But just understand, if you're going to do freelance, if you say, well, I'm going to become a graphic designer and make a career doing freelance work, it's a lot tougher than you think. I don't do as much freelance work because I just don't have the patience like Glen does. I'll be honest with you. I seriously don't. If people keep wanting to make changes, at some point I'll just snap. I'll be like, look, man, and it's happened before. I've done work in the past where they made so many changes. It just got to the point where I was like, I can't do work for you anymore.
Yeah, so, you're like, look, man, I'm making big money right now on merch. I really just don't have the time for this right now. Just kidding.
So, and then moving on to the next point. If you do want to do freelance work, I highly recommend doing pro bono work to at least get your work out there into the public. And when I say pro bono, reach out to companies that need it. Okay, don't just design a logo for your cousin or your Aunt Sally, because that's not really. I mean, yeah, you're designing something, but you want to do something a little more meaningful for I don't know, doing a poster for the local, I don't know, Red Cross or something.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's uh, that's really already established. Like a, oh gosh, what am I trying to say? Like the local animal hospital, Red Cross, things like that, right?
Yeah. And
You,
I used to also do like, little competitions and stuff like that. They had different poster designs. I think we had a local hospital or something. I had like I think it was like a poster design competition and stuff
mhm,
like that. And when I was in college, I was like, you know what, I'll join it. And, I think the winner got like $250 or something like that, or $500. I don't
yeah,
remember. And I was like, you know what, I'll join some of these, and something I could put into my portfolio that, hey, at least I entered. I'm trying to do things and build up the portfolio. So I
yeah,
would probably say, if you don't have a job or get that experience first, that you can,
yeah,
join and do these things.
yeah. So again, I mean, pro bono work is okay, but do it with, um, you know, nonprofit organizations. Like I had mentioned, it's cool to design a logo for your Aunt Sally or your cousin who just started a business, but if you do pro bono work for nonprofit organizations, that'll really get your name out there.
Hmm.
Um, and the next point is the globalization of the job market. And this is something that we just recently, we just talked about a couple of minutes ago. The globalization of the job market with sites like Fiverr and Upwork. Okay, it's like I was saying, go on those sites right now and just look up graphic designer. Okay, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of graphic designers to choose from. And unfortunately for graphic designers, that really saturated the market. Seriously, right? You got people designing logos for $5. Some 14, 15-year-old kid in India, that $5, that's like a week's worth of salary for him. So they can afford to do that.
Hmm.
But for people here in the US, it really killed the market.
Yeah, and I would probably say, I mean, you can set yourself apart from that stuff too. I mean, if you're really, really good and you build up your talents, you can definitely set
Exactly.
yourself apart. It's good to start off, but keep those clients around that really, really like you.
Hmm.
Start charging a little bit more, building up the portfolio, getting better. All this stuff. I mean, you'll charge way more than $5.
Of course, and that's what and that's what we're getting at, is that at some point you should get yourself well established, um, and sometimes you'll even get repeat customers. Like my instructor in college, uh, he's been doing work for a dog trainer down in San Diego for like the
Hmm.
last 10, 15 years, and they established a relationship where she doesn't even go to anyone else. She knows that he does good work, and she's just been working with him for the last 15 years.
See, there we go.
Yeah, so
That's solid, mate.
build good relationships. But again, it's going to be hard in the beginning, but you have to get yourself established.
Yeah.
Final final bullet point. You want to go ahead and take this one, man, and I'll kind of uh, add my comments and thoughts as well.
Well, I guess, strong portfolio, which strong portfolio we already know because we want to build it up and everything. But I kind of, before we kind of talk about that, I just wanted to throw something in, something that you can do with not only being a freelance graphic designer or learning graphic design. You can do this with merch too. But one of the cool things that someone can do is like show them and putting themselves out there from the very beginning of not really knowing much, and maybe creating a YouTube channel or something of them, documenting this whole process of them learning graphic design, learning the programs and
Oh, that's
typefaces
interesting.
and everything. Maybe starting off from the very beginning, and maybe that's something people are interested in. Like, hey, that's cool seeing somebody that doesn't know much, but they really enjoy it. They like it. They're learning. Documenting from the very beginning of someone, barely learning the whole thing, going up in the rankings, and then eventually, hey, I learned the pen tool. Remember, you know, 4 months back then when I could barely do, this shape. Now I can do this. Now I can do that. And going through the whole process and building that up. Imagine also giving that portfolio to somebody. I have a whole YouTube channel of me learning and going through this whole process and networking and building up clients. And it's all there in video. Like, That would be super impressive to me. I think if someone really put that together with a strong portfolio, I think that's huge.
You would hire that person? That's interesting. I've never even thought of doing something like that.
Yeah, you could even do that with merch too, because let's say if your journey through merch was, I didn't know anything about Illustrator, this is when I started off, and then now you're just building it more and more. Your merch numbers are going up more and more. You can you're uploading more designs as time goes on. That's a pretty cool journey to see from the very beginning of not really knowing much about design.
Interesting. Oh, so you're pretty much documenting your whole progress.
Yeah, your progress, the whole process of learning graphic design and merch as far as t-shirt goes, and building that up. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you? What about strong portfolio? I know you wanted to.
Yeah, no. So this is the final bullet point. This is what's going to pretty much make your career. Okay, college education or not. Okay, I know some really good graphic designers who never went to college, but they just they were creative enough. They had the will, they had the drive, and they were able to learn all the softwares. And they have a strong portfolio, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a strong portfolio to present to, whether you're looking for a corporate 9 to 5 or even doing freelance work, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna ask for a portfolio. If they don't, you need to ask them. Well, why aren't you asking for my portfolio? Because that's what people want to see. They want to see what you do. So you need to have a strong portfolio. So if you want to get into a career of graphic design, definitely work on your portfolio.
Yeah, and it's a long process too. When I was going through school, especially going through like your old projects, I was like, man, this looks like crap. I'm gonna have to fix this. And like they had us do that, I think from like, I think there was like 8 different courses in graphic design. So all the stuff that I made from graphic design like 3 and 4, we had to go back and look at it before we graduated, and I was like, oh man, this is horrible. Like enough to pass, but this isn't gonna be good for, I don't know, to show portfolio to somebody.
Yeah, no, it's no, exactly. So make sure you have something. You have a strong portfolio. And even putting together a portfolio is a task, right? You don't just put it together and say here. You have to have a website. It needs to be well put together. Presentation is key.
Yeah.
So
and now that with all this, especially with a website and stuff like that, it wasn't really like that before. You could just have a solid printed portfolio that you can hand out. And now it's like you have a full blown website with social media running like crazy, a bunch of posts, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything's like all at once. You have a nice little following and showing your work and ton of stuff with the game when it comes to pretty much everything now.
Yeah. So. But yeah, those are some, at least the bullet points that Glenn and I came up with. Things that you should consider if you want to go into the career of being a graphic designer. I'm sure there's a lot of things that we left out, but that's a pretty good foundation of what you should do.
Yeah, and if it's something you're interested in, you can contact me or Yong anytime.
Yeah.
Have our emails in the show notes, or you can just go to the Merch Minds Facebook group, tag us, send us whatever. If you want to send us a message, email, whatever you want. If that's something you're interested in, you can ask us questions. Happy to help anybody that contacts us.
Hey, I'll tell you what. After this episode comes out, why don't you and I go in the Facebook group and post one of our works from back in the days that we're like, this is garbage. You want to do it? I think that'd be fun.
I'll do it. I can go back. I'll go through the archives. So I know I can find some pretty crappy stuff.
Yeah. No, same here. So yeah, it's a learning step. It's a progress. You don't become a graphic designer overnight. So basically, what Glenn and I are saying is, we used to suck, but now we're at a point where we feel pretty good about our skills. So
Yeah. You also don't become a huge merch seller overnight. So we're all working towards big money. It's going to take some time, going to take some effort, uploading shirts every single day. I want to see everybody's progress in the Facebook group. And if you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, Merch Minds on Facebook, join today. And if you're on iTunes right now, please leave us a review. It helps us on iTunes. It gets more people interested, especially if they're looking for info on merch. They could see us on there. So please leave us a review if possible.
absolutely. Other than that, I don't really have any closing thoughts or comments, man. I think that's pretty much it.
I think that's pretty much it too. I think next week we'll cover some more merch news because it seems like every single week something is going on.
Right. So, okay, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week.
See ya.